Welcome to Red Barn Talks, where stories flow like the stream and the rocks can outtalk me. Hello, I'm Lou, and this is your backstage pass to the incredible Barn family, the soul folk healers and seekers behind Red Barn Rocks. Today, we revisit the archives of Twigs Cafe Radio with a remarkable guest, a return to Donna Wills. Donna Wills is a passionate healer, educator, and survivor. After being diagnosed with reflex sympathetic dystrophy, RSD, and spending 11 years in a wheelchair, Donna defied the odds through holistic therapies, self-directed healing, and deep spiritual work. Now, a certified practitioner and teacher, she helps others find hope, healing, and balance, body, mind, and spirit. Her journey from chronic illness to restored vitality led her to create Inner Peace Health, Healing, and Wellness Associates, a center dedicated to empowering others with alternative healing options. In this episode, we go beyond physical healing to explore the metaphysical foundations of Donna's work, how energy, intention, and spiritual understanding shape her practice and continue to guide her path.
Disclaimer: Twigs Cafe Radio and twigscaferadio.com and its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions, statements, or claims made by the talk show hosts or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the station.
Hello, and welcome to Truth Seekers News on Twigs Cafe Radio at caferadio.com.
And Laura's back.
The metaphysical sciences explore the non-physical aspects of reality. It's by its very nature cannot accurately measure or collect data using the five physical senses. So that's metaphysical, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
We are. Okay.
Yes.
Who do you got coming on?
We have Donna Wills from the Inner Peace. She's been on.
Yeah.
She's starting to be our
go-to person.
Yeah, you're not kidding. She is coming on to talk about healing energies
Okay,
and metaphysical.
I know all about energy
Studies.
medicine now.
Do you?
Yeah.
You could tell us then.
Well, Donna explained it to me on Mindful Living Hour.
So there you go. We can get into that.
But metaphysical, how are you going to get into all kinds of stuff?
Metaphysical is a pretty broad subject for really what science can't explain. So
there we go.
So
there's plenty of stuff that things can't be explained these days
right,
in more ways than one.
It's a pretty big subject, and I think it's pretty interesting in that it's becoming more scientific, and people are starting to realize that there are things that can't be explained. Our vision only sees, 25% of the color spectrum?
It's really amazing.
So if we only see like a fraction, it's interesting. So let's go ahead. We'll bring Donna on.
How you doing, Donna?
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Donna, hi. How are you?
Good.
So what are we talking about today?
Oh, we're talking about metaphysics, my favorite subject. And Laura, you're right. It is about the non-physical senses. Beyond the physical is really the whole premise of metaphysics.
And it encompasses so much. You could use it as a go-to to lump a lot of just things that modern science and modern healing doesn't explain or can't explain. So
They did. But there are the metaphysical sciences, which I've studied for quite some time.
So tell us a little bit then, Donna, what you feel the metaphysical sciences covers.
Well, I think the metaphysical sciences covers the things that we don't see with our five senses, which we just discussed. But it also covers things that's in our everyday life that we don't notice necessarily right away. Energy. We talked about energy. Energy is a big part of it. Physics in itself. Quantum physics is a big part, I think, of metaphysical sciences that we're just starting to tap into. We're coming more into what they call the Einsteinian way instead of the Newton way. Newton was all about physics and gravity and the physical senses, and Einstein was all about energy. E equals mc squared. It's all about energy. So I think that's where the broad spectrum comes in. We're getting more into it. We're tapping more into it through manifesting, becoming co-creators. Edgar Casey was a big component of metaphysics. and the study of metaphysics. And the Casey Library is one of the biggest metaphysical libraries in the world. And for those people that don't know who Edgar Casey is, he was considered the sleeping prophet. He did over 14,000 psychic readings. So it's coming to the forefront now. I think people are starting to understand it because they're starting to understand energy more now than before. They're starting to become more aware of it through different means. Certainly through situations like you guys are doing now with, trying to educate the public, which is wonderful. So I think people becoming more aware.
And I think it even goes beyond Einstein, because Einstein even said that the spooky matter at a distance or spooky something, he knew that there was something more that he couldn't tie to the small particles. And that's where the quantum physics.
That's where the quantum physics
comes
We're
in.
becoming more comfortable with quantum physics. We're becoming more aware of it. I think it might be the time frame too. There were a lot of people that predicted at this time we would become more awake. We would start using abilities that we didn't use before. For instance, Casey always said that we all had the ability to do what he did. We just didn't tap into it. And we're taught in metaphysics that it's either a skill or a will. Either you don't have the will, you don't want to do it, or you don't have the skill, and you can be taught to do it. That's why doing the different classes opens up your psychic ability. You become more aware of things.
More aware of it. Right. And so when you studied metaphysics, tell us what that looks like. Is that a theory type study, or is it a mathematical type study?
I think it would be more under the philosophy.
Okay.
It would be more under a philosophy type. But as far as the type of classes, I've done so many, my goodness, meditation, world religion, or chakra, Native American culture, astrology, cleansing, manifesting skills, herbs. There's so many of them that you do under the heading of metaphysical sciences, because there's so much incorporated into it, so much, all the different energies that we see, and the vibrational medicine, and there's just so much of it. I can't even remember all the classes that I've done.
That you've done under that.
About crystals and gemstones and the energy and vibrations that they give off, and the healing properties, and it's just so much. Hypnotism is a big one too now.
Is a big one, yeah.
About hypnotism and past life regression
and I have here, it says the personal experience and subjective observation gives the mind and spirit valuable feedback as to the results of our intentions and desires. Right. It is all our intention and all our desires that causes the observed and measurable. So
all about perception. That's exactly. It's all about perception, how we see it, our perception of it. But we're a co-manifestation. We can manifest our own reality.
Well, and we do manifest our own reality if you think about it. Whether we do it consciously or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Subconsciously is the big one. Because that's where the challenges come up, because those are our lessons. Those are the lessons that we need to learn. So certain things will keep coming into our lives until we understand it, until we recognize it, and then we can move on to something else.
We can move on. You're giving me the scrunch eye. Lou gives me scrunch eyes when he has a question.
No, I just don't understand. What exactly is, what do you mean by manifesting your own reality?
Well, what we bring into our lives is manifesting our own reality, how we perceive it. You can have two people see the exact same thing at the exact same time, and they will describe it in two totally different ways. So if you and I were both to witness anything that happened, an event or something, you and I both would not see it in the same way. We might explain it in two very different ways. Does it mean that you're wrong or I'm wrong? No, it just means that's your perception or my perception of the way I saw it.
And also, even further with what I think Lou's asking, just think about a day that you've gone through, all right, and the first thing turns out bad, and you get a grump face. And The next thing happens, so your grump face gets even worse. And then the next thing happens and you're mean to the lady behind the counter, but she's mean back, so you think it's her.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of snowballs from there, where if your world is really a reflection of what
You're
what you
bringing
give
into it
out.
or giving
Yeah.
Well,
out.
So
that's where the whole premise of as above, so below, as without, so within. The same.
That's kind of the
people
secret. Is
who
Right.
that whole thing you're
A
throwing
little bit
out
about
to
the secret.
you're
Yeah.
throwing out your
the
to the
the
universe.
one thing with The Secret that I think was its biggest fault was it lent itself. It made the belief that,
It was about money.
oh, if I think I'm going to get a check,
Like
I'll
material.
get a diamond ring in the mail the
Right,
next
right.
day, or my
Right.
fiance will just the next day. If I just wish it, it'll happen.
Yeah, that
And
was the dramatization of it all. It wasn't really, I don't know that was what they were coming together as a bunch of people that had done the study of manifestation, and they had to, that was the drama of it, putting it on camera so that people, I'm going to think a car, and I'm going to see a car in my driveway, or,
and
you know,
and
I'm
that
going
kind
to
of
think of this diamond, and I'm going to have, it was all material, because a lot of people relate to it that way, but it goes so far beyond that. If you go into soul growth and you look at it, we manifest into our lives what our soul needs to grow. Some people, so there's some belief system where it is that we make these contracts before we come into this lifetime. And whatever those contracts are that we've made, we're going to come into this lifetime and we're going to be faced with challenges and things in our lives so that we can accomplish what it was that we said we were coming here to do. Whether it's for ourselves or others. We make contracts with others too. Edgar Casey said we travel in soul packs together. So in this lifetime, it may be your mother, your sister, your brother, but in a lifetime before, it may have been a friend, or instead of being a mother, it was a child, but we travel in a same soul pack together, like a family.
Mm-hmm.
But the dynamics change based on what our soul spirit needs. It gets pretty deep. And I think that when they did The Secret, they were trying to get people to understand that our thought patterns and our subconscious could manifest in ways that we weren't aware of. So I think they were just trying to make a movie out of it. But the philosophy of it is that we can manifest in so many ways what we bring into our lives.
And that's the truth. So
we're very powerful beings. We have abilities that we don't even tap into, that we haven't even began to tap into yet.
Yeah.
Our psychic abilities, our understanding, our intuition, I think, is a big one. A lot of people don't listen to that little voice inside all the time.
And that's the truth. And I think Lou and I were talking last time. We were talking about the crystals last week, and I had read an article where the pineal gland is made up of the same exact material that our eyes are made up of.
Mhm.
And they believe that millions of years ago, when we were still quite what they would consider primitive, it was a way to not see like we do with our eyes, but it was a way to tap into that intuition a lot more. And as we grew and were able to use tools and do different things like that, it became less and less of an organ that we needed. And I believe that to be true. So that's something that you need to, you can develop.
Look at the picture of it. If you look at the way it looks, the Egyptians had it in their symbolism. The Egyptians had it in their hieroglyphics. They had what looks exactly like the pineal gland. So it is very important. The way I think that we've come away from it because we've gotten kind of almost away from what we're meant to do in some ways. I think we've let other things come in the way, technology and things. But now I think that's shifting.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're coming back to that again. The way history repeats itself, I think we're starting to come back into that cycle again. It's all about the cycle. And I think we're coming back into that cycle. And there are more and more people that are using it. I think there was a time frame too that it was frowned upon to use your intuition or your psychic ability. So now I think it's coming back into the forefront and people are beginning to tap into that again. I'm so happy to be here talking about metaphysics with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We're so glad to have you. Donna, tell us how metaphysics fits in with the energy work. And I guess what we need to define here is the fact that metaphysics is really a general name for, again, what we can't explain.
Yes. I
Yes.
think it's been used that way. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I have here metaphysical is a point of view. The physical universe is real because we know it exists.
Right.
So,
Things that we use with our five senses, like you were saying, things that you can see. Again, bringing in that third eye, the pineal gland. Yeah. That sight beyond sight, the sight beyond our five senses of sight, like you were talking about intuition. I think when you get into the definition of metaphysics, that's where it lies in the philosophy of no, it's beyond what we can see in the physical form, what we can see, what we can hear, what we can feel, what we can taste in the physical form.
so it moves beyond that.
It moves beyond that, with there's so much more beyond that. There's so many other dimensions. We're stuck in this three-dimensional. There's so many other dimensions that can be tapped into. Like, for instance, when they read the Akashic records, you're tapping into different dimensions. So there's so much more out there. I believe it's just some of the things that we've already discovered in the study of metaphysics. I think we're just getting the tip of the iceberg. I think there's so much more out there that we've yet to discover.
And yet to discover. So explain to everybody listening that may not know, what is the aura? We'll talk a little bit about the chakras, but first let's talk about the aura and how that can affect or be affected.
Well, the aura is sort of like us inside the egg. So the aura is the field that's around the body, that surrounds the body. So it has layers. It comes very close to the body, and then it has layers. And each one of those layers are responsible for different responses to the body, whether it be physical, emotional. And then the chakras are like little energy vortex that run along the spine. We focus on 7 of them, but there's actually hundreds of chakras. But we focus on the 7 that run along the spine. So it starts at the very base of the spine and works its way up into 7 chakras till it comes above the head. And each one of those represent different physical reactions, emotions, different times of our lives, different organs. So it's an energetic response. The Chinese believe in the meridian system, which is another energy system in the body, where the acupuncture points are on. They believe that illness starts because of an energy either being depleted or too much in a certain part of a meridian that would correspond to an organ. So that it affects us. Energy affects us in so many ways that we don't even realize through these pathways. And some of the pathways are the aura, how the outside influences of the environment work towards our energy, or the chakras. The chakras are very in tune with other people as well, especially the heart chakra. When you come in contact with somebody else, your heart chakra and their energy field met together. The energies blend together. And so when you walk into a room and everybody's very sad, you might feel very sad for a few minutes. And you may have walked in feeling fine. So, or when you walk into a room, this is the one that everybody usually can identify with. When you walk into a place or an area or a space and the hair on the back of your neck stands up, that's the one that usually everybody says, oh, that happened to me, so they know. And that's feeling the energy of the space, the energy, and how it is affecting your physical senses so that you can feel it, so that you can understand it. But it happens all the time in these little energy vortexes in the body where it picks up different things from your environment or from anything you're doing, your emotions, food, light, we're photosynthesis, so it picks up light. So color is a big thing. The crystals can affect all different senses in the body, different energy fields in the body. The crystals, because it has the vibration, so it has a frequency, and it works with the frequencies in the body. So energy is very important.
And I always use the analogy, you're invited over for dinner and you walk in and the people that that invited you had just had an argument. And they're
feel it.
standing there and they're greeting you with the cheese platter or whatever, but you're kind of like, they're
Mhm.
smiling, but something happened in the room before you got
You
in
can
there.
feel the thickness of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Exactly. So people can feel it. That's part of the thing that we can tap into and we can learn to use to our benefit by working with the chakra system, by working with the aura. They have the aura camera now, which is the Curlin photography.
Mm.
And that can actually show you your aura in color.
Oh,
You
wow.
see it. And then based on work that even if you brought a crystal in while you were taking that photograph, you can see the difference before and after. If you
Before and
take your
after.
photo before and then bring the crystal in, how much of a difference it makes to your energy system just by bringing in a very small crystal. It doesn't have to be a large one either, or it can be a very small one, depending on what kind it is. It can change your aura to a different color. It can make it feel better. So there's so many different ways that the energy system can be tapped into and worked with to help us, to make us feel stronger, more vitality, to healthier, to ward off illness. Like the Chinese philosophy is that the meridian system is the pathway that where illness begins and where illness can be.
Fixed. And the muscle system, is it the fascia? Fascia? Is that?
Fascia is just world of skin. The fascia covers the muscle. It's in certain areas, but it's just below the surface of the skin.
But they're finding that it correlates almost, if it's the same thing that I'm thinking of, it correlates really closely with what the meridian system.
Right.
So that they're
It does.
scientifically almost
Right.
proving the fact that there is a meridian system. And people
is.
should really get in tune with that feeling, because how many times have you had the feeling, "Wait, I shouldn't go in there, or I shouldn't do
Right.
that."
And we do it anyway.
And we do it anyway. And then you're
Exactly.
like, well, that's why I thought that, or that's why I.
Exactly. Well, hindsight's 20/20
Right.
too, but yes, exactly. We should listen to our body, and the body has its own language. And really, when you're able to read that language or speak that language or interact with that language, it's amazing what you can find by doing muscle testing. Like you were talking about the muscle, we do a lot of muscle testing in energy work to see what is going on in the body, what's the effect, cause and effect kind of thing. That's what we're looking for when we're doing muscle testing. We're
Yeah.
looking to see, what is this doing to the energy system in the body when I bring this into it, whether it's crystals or color or medications or herbs or
Mhm.
supplements, whatever we're using. Even thoughts are huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge thought patterns can switch your energy in the drop of a dime so quick. Just a negative thought or positive thought. That's why they talk a lot about mindfulness and being mindful of your thoughts so that they're positive, because they can drain your energy very quickly. And it doesn't have to be your thought. In some of the demonstrations that I do, I can bring someone up in a demonstration with a room full of people, have them turn their back to the audience and tell the audience, now, when I put my thumb up, think of a positive note. And when I put my thumbs down, think of something negative. And the person that's in the front of the room doesn't even see what's going on. And you can actually muscle test them and have the people think of something positive, and you'll muscle test them, they'll be strong. And then when you do thumbs down for the people to think of something negative, and you test that person who is standing with their backs towards these people,
Yeah.
they will actually become weak from other people's thoughts. So
From
it's
other
not only
people's-
our thoughts. We
Well-
have to surround ourselves with things that are better, that have more positive influences.
I used to think to myself that the butterfly effect is the experiment. I don't forget if it was water. If a butterfly's wings moved the water here, would it create a tsunami like on the other side of the world?
Right.
And it was an actual experiment. Could one little thing affect another? And what he found was that, yes, one little something here could affect. And I always wondered about that. How could that really be? How could I, as a person, create change in the whole world? And you think about it and you think, well, if my aura is out, say even 4 feet from my physical body, and I'm in a good mood, and I walk through a crowded area in a good mood, and that just changes one person, and they're walking through past me into it, and it could just go on and on and on. And
Absolutely.
and
And then
it-
orphanogenic energy that gets left behind. So that positive energy gets less, part of it gets less there
And-
for other people to pick up on too.
or negative.
Or
We
negative.
need to, right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we have to be very, very mindful of our thoughts. Dr. Emoto, you're familiar with Dr. Emoto's work?
That
Water?
That was the Dr. Emoto was. I tried to think of his name last
Yeah.
week. Go ahead and
Doc-
though and explain that.
Yeah, Dr. Emoto did some scientific work, some study with water. And what they did was they used water and they brought it to a frozen state. And they were doing different studies with it. And they decided to start using words with the water to see if it affected the water. Because water is very metaphysical, but that's a whole other joke. So what they did was they started to use words. They would say love and peace and gratefulness. And they were becoming these beautiful crystalline formations, like a beautiful snowflake and beautiful crystalline formations. Then they used negative words. And the negative words did not show a beautiful crystalline presence. They were very dull. They were very dark. They didn't have as many geometrical shapes. They weren't as beautiful. So he started to realize that words mattered when it came to matter and substance, as well as emotion. So then they went further and they used rice. And they did three jars of rice, all put in at the same time of cooked rice. And one jar they would speak to and say all very nice things, loving, peaceful things to. The other jars they would talk negatively to. The third jar they totally ignored. And at the end of 2 weeks, the third jar was the one that was the most ignored one. The negative one obviously had rotted as well, but not as bad as the one that was ignored. And the one that was spoken to with all good thoughts was like the day it was put in. Amazing.
Yeah. And you think about the water thing. If we are made of how much, 95%?
Yeah, some of the
water?
brain is up to 95% of water, sure.
So
Yeah.
if we are filling ourselves with
Right.
negativity or negative
Right.
thoughts, what's that? Our makeup carries that
Sure,
that
it's all about
disharmony
frequencies.
through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. That's all it is. It's all about frequency. It's all about the frequencies. And you're right. The word that I would use would be flow, balance, harmony.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And that's the kind of things that we're coming to understand now that we didn't understand as much before. You know, the other indigenous cultures, they understood them more than we did. The Native Americans, they understood what words meant. And even Reiki, when you get into the study of Reiki, they use words and they use symbols. So
Mhm.
they understood it too. So some of these ancient cultures understood this. And somewhere along the line, we lost that knowledge or it was put on the back burner. And now it's starting to come back again because we're seeing the cause and effect of it. We're seeing what it caused to not do that anymore, to not have that ability, to not have that sense. Again, when you go back to that third eye again, too, the cause and effect is that we didn't listen to the little voice that said, don't walk into this space. There's something there you shouldn't do. So now people are becoming more aware of it. I believe that's what we're coming into, what they consider now the awakening.
With the awakening.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take us through the body chakras, Donna, if you will, with the base and kind of work your way up.
Well, there's the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. And then you have the sacral chakra, which is at the line of the sacrum, up a little further. They see a hand space below the navel. And then you have the solar plexus, which is a hand space above the navel. You have the heart, which is in the center of the chest. And then you have the throat chakra at the base of the throat. And then you have the third eye, which is between the brows, which is the pineal gland that we talked about before. And then you have the crown chakra. The crown chakra is how we see ourselves with the divine, you know, how, whether it's cosmos, how we see that higher level of energy, whether it's God or however we see that. That's how we connect with the divine stuff.
So and energy can get stuck within that. So take us through if somebody was stuck that needed to be grounded and just the opposite if somebody was stuck that needed to be a little more connected with their higher power.
Well, we call them the upper chakras and the lower chakras. So the heart is the one that brings the lower chakras and the upper chakras together. So some people they get stuck in the lower level chakras. Those are the people that are, very earthbound, materialistic, lower in the lower chakras, and they don't get enough energy into the upper chakras. Or there's some people that are all in the upper chakras and don't have enough in the grounding. But I find with a lot of people now, some of the technology, some of that is causing them not to be grounded as well. Or because we're so far from nature sometimes, we're not grounded. So the right way to get grounded again, the most easiest way to get grounded again is to be in nature. We need to be in nature because we're part of it. We're part of the earth. And then if we're too grounded, then we need to get into the spiritual. We need to be in the upper chakras. We need to open up those upper chakras. And the throat is actually in those upper chakras. So communication is key. And that when we talk about, saying positive things or negative things, that's coming from the throat. So that's the upper chakra. So it's in the upper realm. It should be in the spiritual sense. It should be up with the intuition and your spirit. But it also needs to, that when we're taught in energy medicine, we're taught that the throat has channels of each of the chakra in them. So the throat needs to communicate with all of the other chakras as well as the heart.
As well
It's very important.
And it was just not recently, but it was thought that for the longest time that the heart was the area where all intelligence came. And, if you think about it, if you say, who are you? You say, I'm me. You point to the heart. You don't ever say, I'm me, and you point to your forehead, or I'm me, and you point to your knee. You always point to your heart. So, and Lou, you said you had some questions?
I do. I keep writing them down. How you doing down there, Donna?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Now, I was kind of questioning here, is the soul grow contracts? So we have contracts with whom? And how does that work with free will?
Well, we have contracts with for ourselves. We come here with, and when we're on the other side, we have a different perception again. We're talking about perception. So when we're on the other side, when we decide to come back into another lifetime, we may want to do everything in this lifetime to facilitate whatever it is that our soul needs for growth. And we're going to do it all so we can come back and we don't have to do it again. But that's where free will comes in. Once we're here, we have free will to make choices that may not be in with the contract. So we may make these choices of free will that are not in line with our contract. And that's kind of like our path, We all have a certain path that we come here, our journey, and we veer off of it because of our choices. So that's, I believe, where free will comes in.
When we talk about soul growth, is that is it all like good stuff that we're growing with, or is it,
It's all for our highest good, absolutely.
Okay.
Or whatever. For our highest good. It's always for our highest good, our soul growth.
And a couple other things. I mean, the ideal is to hang out with positive people a little bit, as I understand this here. And it's good to have some crystals around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, we love crystals.
I have to go.
Very good.
I have to go back into my rock collection and start putting my crystals out somewhere.
You do. And you have to cleanse them because the crystals pick up negative energy too from environmental sources or other people, or so you need to cleanse the crystal and you need to keep them clean and then energize them. You can put them in the sun, you can put them in the full moon. You can use salt. Salt is a big one. You know how I feel about salt. Water. You can use water to cleanse them. So there's different ways to cleanse the crystals. Some crystals don't need cleansing, but most of them, majority of them, need some type of cleansing. Because they pick up the energies as well, because of the frequencies.
Yeah, so I'm just listening to all the conversations here. Desiderata, you guys probably heard of Desiderata. Avoid loud and aggressive people. They are vexations to the spirit. That's what you guys are talking about here.
It is. Okay. It really is. And you can feel that when you're in the presence of people that are uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's your body's language.
Especially when they're mad at you.
Especially when they're mad at you.
And they verbalize it.
That's the word.
That's when you really know.
Yeah, we call that forked tongue.
That's right.
Yeah, you got that right. Hey, you got to.
But words can be damaging. They really could. We laugh about it, but words can be damaging.
Words are the strongest. They're the strongest. Yeah, they're
Well,
sticks and stones. But
Donna, Laura just showed me that guy with the water crystals there and the different words. So if
Yeah.
you
Oh,
curse a
oh,
lot,
isn't it beautiful?
the
They're
hidden,
beautiful.
for anybody listening, it's The Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Emoto. And it is it's a small book. It's an rainy afternoon read. It is really, really
jeez.
enlightening. It's
It is.
cool. Yeah.
It really
And
is.
that
It
was
really
the thing.
So no more cursing?
No, but that was the thing that I said. In Japan, and I said this last week, in Japan, there was a lake that had a lot of pollution in it. They had something like 3,000 Buddhist monks
Come on.
to do the B Om in the tone B for I don't know how many hours, and they think the vibration of it is healing the lake. The lake is
And the
healing
intention.
itself. Yeah.
The intention. Intention
Yeah.
is
It's
so powerful. People don't realize how
it's for
powerful
real.
your intention is. But intention is extremely powerful, whether it's through manifestation of your own or for as a collective, like in the instance
Power
of
of prayer.
or prayer. Prayer is phenomenal. It's also, a way of meditating. People don't realize that if they pray, they're actually meditating. I hear that all the time. Oh, I can't meditate. And I ask them, have you prayed? Oh, well, yeah. Well, then you're meditating. Prayer is a form of meditation.
Well, and I think that lends itself to some clarification, because I know with the meditation, for years I thought it was the only way you could meditate was to clear your mind, and it is so much whatever you need it to be. I was told once, and this seemed to just resonate with me. It's if for one evening you have a question, meditate on the question. If for one evening you just need peace and quiet, meditate on the breath and being quiet. If for one time you I don't know, want to watch a candle or a flame, or you need something stimulating like that, like just whatever it takes to just be in the present for a couple minutes.
I love to rock out with music.
There you go.
Absolutely. That's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
That's meant to music, In my Reiki study, my Reiki master teacher taught us that just for today, we would say in our mantra, just for today, I will bring in peace and harmony. Just for today, I will be open to, just for today.
Yeah.
Because it brings you in the now, and it's just for today. So I don't have to worry about tomorrow and the next day and the next day. It keeps me very present just for today. So
That's good.
profound. Very profound.
Good to live by.
And again, it's all about intentions of helping people. And we start the day off setting our intentions and asking for the highest good of all. And we just really have a good time.
So,
what are metaphysical products? I saw that as part of your...
Well, crystals.
Crystals?
Crystals are first and foremost in that, probably. But we use candles, we use essential oils, we use sage for clearing. We use all types of sage. We use herbs. We use incense. There's some jewelry can be considered metaphysical depending on the components or what type of crystals. Because metals too associate, like a white metal is a yin energy, and a gold energy is yang energy. So metal itself can be very metaphysical. Metal is one of the five elements in the Chinese elements and the five elements. So metal is one of them. So metal can have metaphysical properties as well.
geometric shapes. You have the
Geometric shape.
Yeah.
Sacred shape. Yeah. Yeah.
So different things like that.
I didn't realize...
Water.
Yeah.
Water is so metaphysical. I love water. I mean, doing my master's thesis on water. So water's another one.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize sage was used for cleansing. When I go
Sage
ahead...
is used for cleansing. Sage was used, smoke itself. So not only sage, but incense, different types of herbs can be used. Actually, acupuncture was founded by using moxibustion, which was using an herb that they would burn, and they would run it along the meridian line.
Jeez.
And when it got hot enough that the person could feel it almost to the point where they couldn't take it anymore, they knew that they can move on to the next one.
Oh,
So that's how acupuncture came to be known as we know it today. But it actually started as a process of burning herbs.
Huh,
Ne-
how about that? I
Next
didn't know
time
that.
I'm in Montana, I'm coming back with all kinds of sage plants.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
Nice.
love
Sage is
sage.
wonderful.
We carry all different types here. I love sage. We do a lot with sage. We do Palo Santo too, which is another sacred wood. Yeah, so we have Palo Santo, we have sage. We mix a lot of the herbs together for different purposes, whether we're
Jeez.
burning them or we're using them for other ways. We do deeply use the herbs are a big part of what we do here. So
And with the herbs, it's really just not really because there are certain sacred herbs, and I don't know, there are 7 of them, and I'm not sure if I can name them all exact, but it's like being thankful for Mother Earth and being thankful for the blessings that the earth gives us.
Well, the earth gives us everything we need.
Exactly.
And that's even in the Bible. So we use herbs, everything, the way they studied herbalism, the way herbalism has come about, they studied the animals and how the animals reacted when they had certain herbs. The sacred herbs that you're talking about, depending on which culture you're talking, some of them might be a little different, but the sacred herbs were the ones that they knew were like the panaceas that would work for everything from A to Z. So, and they also, there was a lot of rituals around the sacred herb when they harvested it, when they planted it, whether they planted it during the certain moon cycles. So the sacred herb, that's how it became of sacredness. It was when they planted them, when they harvest them, how they harvest them, what they used them for. So that's where the essence of sacredness came into it.
How interesting. Very, very interesting. I thank you so much for coming on, and you've been a wealth of information as always, and I really appreciate it. And I'll have the information up on the website here coming up shortly for everybody that would like to go back and listen to this again.
Okay, thank you so much. I had a great time.
Oh, Donna, thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Lou.
You bet, Donna. Until next week, right there, Lori?
Yeah, until next week. And I wish everybody a nice, healthy week, and we'll see you next week.
Thursday.
Yep.
You betcha.
Bye-bye.